Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. If you don't mind rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody, and sorry for the late start. There's this very good-looking pie next door. We could not possibly eat it all, so on your way out, make sure you grab something, please. Carla, if you could do a roll call, please.
Alexa Smith. Here. Mallory Benjamin.
Here.
Maria Thompson.
Here.
Jackie Upton Davis.
Present.
Dan Dillon.
Here.
And Justin Stabell.
I am here.
Okay, Natalie Emerson.
Here.
Here. Okay, presentations. We have one tonight. It's the DDP class, not the DDT class. That's long gone.
I'll make it quick for you. So I got to take over DDP this year as the new technology teacher, which is something that was a little bit daunting for me because this is a class I didn't take in high school and didn't really have an idea as to how to combat. I talked to some tech teachers in the surrounding counties, and they recommended that I start doing 3D printing, look at some online computer-aided design and drawing. And what's nice is I just got to do the electives fair, so I'll kind of give you a little bit of a pitch of what I gave those kids and then also what we're doing in class now. Currently, I have 9 boys and 1 girl enrolled in that class, which is a lot for me to deal with in some days, but I do love all those kids. They're very productive and try to get as much done as we possibly can. Most of what we've been doing in that class is projects for other people in terms of trying to create efficient and aesthetically pleasing solutions to everyday problems. So earlier in the year, Rob reached out to us and said that in the odd, we've got these outlet covers for the mics, for the outlets with mics. They keep getting broken off by the piano hitting them, the stairs hitting them. You guys try and make some covers for them. So we went to the drawing board. Students kind of wanted to do woodworking. We have the wood shop there. I have a lot of boys who are very excited to use the wood shop, which is great. But sometimes that proves to be a little bit harder when we don't have the materials for them to be able to use, and just the prototypes end up being a little bit more sloppy and a mess. So at that time, I'd already been starting to get into 3D printing. I was self-taught doing 3D printing and computer-aided design. I found a textbook that I liked and we ended up getting it for the classroom. And it's something that has been really helpful as students are working through. Autodesk Inventor is the program that we're using, and we're doing parametric modeling. So students are able to go in and give dimensioning, create something based off of just a picture they've been given. I really like the program because I find my students are doing a lot more problem solving backwards. The book gives them a lot of examples that they can work backwards through rather than starting and just being given something. They have to use that creativity, and they're actually doing that problem solving in their brain rather than me telling them how to do it, the book telling them how to do it. So given this project, it's something that's very relevant to them and made them kind of excited to use the program a little bit more. I also found that when I was researching in terms of like Autodesk, since that is something that we have at the school for students to use, students that have an inventor certification go into the workforce with an expectation that they could make $74,000 starting with just having a certification in Autodesk Inventor. So I found that that might be something that is a skill that students are going to have an advantage with if they are going to go into the workforce and want to do this sort of work. So we create these outlet covers. These are for the wider ones in the odd, and then I have the thinner ones as well. It took a lot of prototyping, so this one we printed, didn't realize it wasn't to scale right, so if you sit it over an outlet, it's huge, and it doesn't actually fit. Reprinted it, it worked a lot better. We did have to change up where the holes were. I'll pass these around, but right now we're having trouble with 3D printing just with the temperature outside and keeping that room to temperature to actually fit. I also was working with students to make these larger outlet covers. We realized when we printed them that the edges that would sit down on that outlet cover were too thin, so they weren't printing properly and really weren't printing at all, and they weren't thick enough. So when we sat these on the outlet, they were still protruding from the outlet, and they didn't sit flush with the wall like we wanted them to. So this one is our second one that's got the little bit of cover in the back. A lot of actual like dimensioning and sizing going into that. And I'll show you. So this is in the drawing program. I couldn't actually get a video of it as we rotate around it. But if you click on each individual piece in the program, it gives you all the dimensions, the drawing that took place to make this happen, whatever command it was that the student asked the computer to do to make this drawing. And then there's one for the larger outlet cover as well. We were hoping that the smaller one and the larger one were just double next to each other. They are not. So we had to do a lot more measuring and figuring out size of the holes on those because the covers are very different in themselves, we realized, as we were continuing on with the project. One of the other things we were commissioned to do, I am currently still in my master's program, and my master's supervisor came and asked me, I have this hummingbird feeder piece, it keeps breaking, it's really fragile and thin, I don't know what to do with it. Can you 3D print something? So he knew I was using this program. So my students went and took all the dimensions, made this whole center hole piece the same, and then thickened out the ends so that we can actually use this. It's not going to snap in these break points that we're finding. We stress test it in Autodesk Inventor. It's another nice feature that it has. If you know what material you're printing on or using to make whatever it is that you intend on making, then you can stress test those points and see how much force it would take to break it. Hummingbird's not going to break that, but what was breaking this was like sticks hitting it, falling from a tree, and even just like tiny little kids were breaking these off on my poor advisor that just really wanted to see his hummingbirds as a feeder. So being able to widen these and then also make it look pretty much the same, just have a little more width here was something we were able to do with that program as well. But we're continuing to do projects, working into this capital project. We're going to be doing a lot more of this as we're going to be losing that wood shop. So trying to get some wood shop work done now. We have a Students of the Month big board sign that's going to go over our Students of the Month, which is very exciting. We've worked on that since before Christmas, and we're finally seeing that through to fruition, and excited to see that hanging in the hallways, and a couple other wood projects that are coming up before we lose use of that wood shop in March. So that's what I have for you. That's my presentation.
That's awesome. Super cool.
Really well done. I gotta tell you what, I might try something new for classroom management. That belt buckle of yours is
I wear it
amazing.
every day.
I gotta tell you what, I slap one of those babies on, and I'm gonna have full attention all day long. You had me very focused there. So when you come across these things, so like for Rob, he just said, this is what I think I'm gonna do. How's that work for class? Do you just say this is what it is, and then is there like a process that you kind of work through with them?
What's nice is, so we started the year with the focus of giving back to others. So I did a short unit on, if we were to give a gift, if you were to say that you want to give something back to someone, what is the thought of that being something that is worthwhile to that person to receive? So going through that and just working with each other in the class and learning how to give a worthwhile gift and how to listen to others and create based off of someone else's needs was where we started. I try and leave room throughout the week, so it's not like we're not working on like this in class or other things. Like right now we're working on Tech Wars, different projects, and that's kind of what's holding us in place for like things like this, where I don't have time for students to sit down every single day to do this. They do 5 minutes of Inventor every day when they walk in, just so that we're not losing that skill, but they're stressed about losing the wood shop, so I don't want to take that away from them either. They're very motivated by that hands-on work as well. And giving them a little bit of time to still practice this skill has been helpful. Right now we're focusing on doing more problem solving in terms of Tech Wars and following standards that align with that as well, and designing in that capacity, and then we'll move back into this at the end of March. But everything that we do, it's typically like a Thursday or Friday, we'll set some time aside to work on projects. I know Ms. Bookmiller has these little lawn reindeer that fit together, but they're falling apart. It's made out of plywood, so we're gonna try and make something different for her, just seal them differently and make new ones for her so that she can have those for years to come as well. So it's little projects that add up, no different than a lot of our other high school classes that come out of our technology department, like small engines and like our welding. It's a lot of relevant work that is helping students give back to the community as well. And that's a lot of what I like to do is community service, giving back to the people within the school as well. And if that my students can learn from that and learn to be that kind of giving and serving person, then that's even better than them walking out knowing how to do a little bit of woodworking, in my opinion.
Is there a point in time where like you ask the students to go out and say, hey, let's collect some suggestions, or do you have like a way to get suggestions in the school or in the community?
At this point, I'm trying to limit it. I feel like I have so much on my plate right now that it's like, when it comes to like this stuff, yeah, my students do the majority of this, but then I have to go back through and double check it and like make little tweaks and stuff. That takes and consumes a lot of my time because this is something that I am also still in the process of learning. So like doing the Students of the Month sign that we did for Miss Kessler, it's something that turned out really well, but it took us like 4 months to do just because I'm learning new skills and my students are learning new skills. So when people come to me with like suggestions of, oh, we can do this, next year I'll definitely be more open to actually reaching out and kind of seeing what people are looking for, what people want to give. For Christmas, I had my students each draw something in CAD, and then they also built something in the wood shop separately. So they had to draw something by hand, which is a skill that is still useful, but it's something that is starting to become outdated as we have programs like this involved. I had the awesome opportunity to go out to California over Thanksgiving break and see people that were drawing up tractors and parts and pieces to tractors, or building tractors in a CAD program because they're having issues with John Deere being able to actually provide them parts and service. So they're building their own tractors and just putting engines into them after building these all in this exact same program. They're showing me these all on this program. They're building like cottonseed planters, things that they are not getting in the market that they need and they have a need for out there, walnut colors and things like that. So being able to have something to apply this back to as well, I think is really interesting. It's something that we have a need for, and I think it's something that a lot of kids could go out and do, and I have a lot of kids that are very strong in this, which is something that I kind of take a little bit of pride in because they fight me so much on it, but they do so well at it. So once they see where it actually pays off, it's really fruitful.
Sounds like you're gonna be on the clock, John, to make the classroom space available again.
Yeah.
I need my computers.
I love that you tied it back to an employable skill. I think anytime we can give that to our kids, and I mean, there's so many different directions you could go from this to a CNC, to a AutoCAD, to, and I just like that the kids are using their creativity to do it. Not against Rob, but that's the thing that scares me about AI these days is everybody's going to lose their creativity because now you can just speak it into the computer and it makes it for you. When I first got into engineering, we used to have to calculate everything manually. Now you have programs that you just put everything in that you want and it spits it out. So it's a lost skill that obviously it's a lot more efficient these days, but I can see where a kid could take something like this and go so many different directions with it, so that's great. So, good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Nice job. Yeah, really
Thank
nice
you.
job. Okay, on to the approval of minutes. Be it resolved that the minutes of the December 17th, 2024 regular meeting be approved. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Carla, do we have any visitors requests tonight?
We do not.
Okay. Approval of warrants. Be it resolved that after an audit of the bills, payment of the warrants, and internal claims audit reports be approved. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Pete. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 5-2, the treasurer's reports. Be it resolved that the treasurer's reports for November 2024 be approved. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, guys, this is our second reading for the 7680 regulation. John, we talked a little bit about it. We didn't make any suggestions to change anything.
Nope, I didn't make any modifications to it. Double checked the, evaluations and kind of the local costs, should I say. That seems to be in line with the superintendents and districts in the area. So I didn't make any modifications, so I guess I asked the board to approve it unless there's an issue with it.
We just talked about I think at the end, how little some of us thought the dollar amount was for that second evaluation. I think at the end of the day, if we provide the evaluation here, then it becomes incumbent to a degree, right? To a degree, on a parent to go any further with that. I don't know if anybody else wanted to add anything to that.
Is there any type of eval, Lynn, that you can think of that we would not be able to provide to a student that a parent would have to seek outside that could be costly?
So your psychoeducational evaluations, your school psychs can't do. But like with audiology, we have a BOCES audiologist that we contract with. So most of that, your vision and hearing, you can try to work with families. Vision therapy is becoming kind of a lost art. There's not a lot of providers near us. So you do have the one provider that I am more aware of is in East Aurora. So that may exceed your 50-mile radius. I don't know, John, you drive to Ellisville, is that close to East Aurora?
Yeah, I mean, we're probably right there.
Directionally challenged.
Yeah, it's probably.
You made it here tonight.
So, you know, it's minor. We don't have a lot of kids that are experiencing that need, but most of it's your psychoeducational stuff that is kind of out of our realm. You know, you have like your emotionally disturbed or autistic kiddos.
Right.
That's more.
That's Buffalo, Rochester way, so it's close enough, though.
Yeah, Buffalo, Rochester, mostly.
Does anybody see any changes that they'd like to have made or further discussion on this? Again, we're okay. Okay. Yeah, please, Matt.
I'll make a motion to approve policy 7680 as has been presented to us.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, Christine. Last one here.
So tonight, I don't have a whole lot of an update. I do want to give you a little bit of a briefing. We had held our budget workshop last week. The next budget workshop's going to be on February 19th at 5 o'clock. The first formal budget presentation at the board meeting of February 25th will be where the instructional and non-instructional department leaders will be presenting on the budget, as well as an overview at that point in time as well. In the meantime, we are continuing to look at all the budget line items in detail. We did get a release of the executive governor's budget proposal today. It is showing a 2% increase in foundation aid, which is higher than what we had run on formula, which is good. So that would be about $200,000 in the district towards the budget next year. And they did adopt a few changes to the formula, but like I said, we ended up with just a 2% increase. Other districts that might have other changes might have been impacted by the things that she adopted, but she did take some of the recommendations from the Rockefeller study and implement them into the formula. But again, we were just held to the 2% increase.
And what were we last year, Christine?
We were flat.
It was flat. And there was some threat of negative, was there? Or was it
We
just-
would have been negative, and we would be if we ran on formula this year. We'd be about, I think I didn't type it down. I think it's like $65,000 this year. We would have been in the negative if it ran on formula. I'm happy we're not that. I'm happy we're not flat. I'm happy we got 2%. Would I love more? Absolutely, but
Take it.
we'll take that.
Take it.
And I don't know if John was going to talk about the stadium, but I wanted to give you guys a little heads up. One of the things that we started doing over the last few years is really using the Auctions International site for getting rid of used equipment. So instead of trading in our buses, which we typically would get about $2,000 each, about $2,700 it would have saved us. We've sold one bus this year for $5,800, another one for $8,000, another one for $18,000, and then for the stadium, that was one lump sum, $14,000. Someone was able to get that for, but what it saved us is in the project, cost of demolition, cost of hauling it away. So not only did we get money for it, we also saved some money. Now that doesn't do anything for the project per se, other than it takes money out of the, an expense that we don't have to incur in that. The $14,000 isn't revenue for the project, it's revenue to the district, but.
It goes like in a general fund?
Yep.
In the district?
Yep.
Sort of found revenue for the year?
Yep, so over the last 10 years, Jordan and I looked back, and we've sold about $205,000 on Auctions International, and with these numbers, a lot of them have been pretty recent now that we started selling the buses on that versus trading them in.
Which is
So
great.
It's great.
It's
Yeah.
really wonderful.
Yep. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome.
John?
This past Saturday, I attended the Genesee Valley School Board's Legislative Breakfast and Awards Celebration. I'm happy to announce that our Link Crew program, advised by Tracy Schlegenoff and Pete Bueller, was honored as a recipient of the 2025 Excellent in Student Services Award. So congratulations to Tracy, Pete, and our students each year for this student mentoring program that we have for incoming freshmen up at the high school. It's very well deserved, so there's a nice plaque here and a couple certificates from Senator Barillo and Stephen Hawley. So it was nice to be able to receive that award there at that breakfast. If you didn't see it, our stadium began being disassembled this past weekend. If you actually go to our Facebook site, there's a little time lapse that we're going to try to do when these projects are being had. Obviously, the old press box, bleachers, scoreboard have been removed, and more demos to come with the removal of the goalposts and the stadium lights in the next couple weeks. But like Christine said, it's great to have somebody else do that and not have to worry about expensing that with a general contractor when they come in and start building our new stadium. So saves us some money. And as a reminder, next Wednesday, January 29th, there is no school as we celebrate the Lunar New Year. And I guess this is a little bittersweet. I know that this is your last board meeting with us here. You've been here for over 4 years, and you've been my right-hand person. And while I wish you the best of luck, you're certainly going to be missed in district office. So just watch out for those missiles being launched over at Victor. So
Yeah, I'm sure they're working on their defense system.
Yeah, but congratulations, and certainly I know our admin team will miss you and working with you. We have a great team here, and it's going to be tough to replace you.
Thanks.
But we'll do our
Thank you.
best.
I'm going to miss everybody.
Thanks, Christine.
That's all I got. Go Bills.
Yes, sir. Gwen, any updates?
Yeah, so a couple things. We held the OPWDD night with Alba last Thursday, but unfortunately the weather didn't cooperate, so our turnout was a little lower than we wanted. But having some feedback from families, they really do want the special needs families from Alba and Oakfield to have more opportunities to be together, collaborate. They struggle socially with their kids and trying to find niches. So I know that JC has talked about unified sports. We're talking with Alba. We're going to talk to both PTOs to try and come up with some kind of a special ed family focus for the spring. Whether we highlight our playground or throw a kind of little carnival together that's something for them, but just find more ways for them to really find that niche. And in the meantime, we'll still bring back that OPWDD presentation and really try to get them to fill out those applications because those are great services. The next focus on my set is for our older students that are like those transition years, that 15 to 21. We don't have a lot of students taking advantage of Access VR. And that's another work-based coaching project. So if you have a student that really wants to go into the workforce, but maybe they have some anxiety, or they can help them with their interview skills, they can do some job shadowing, they can take things further than what our school can do with our transitions program because it is a federal state fund idea. So you can have OPWDD and Access VR. Right now it's a very low participation rate for our area and our community. So I'm trying to gather more resources and kind of build off those programs and having individual conversations with some of our families at their upcoming annual reviews and have some applications so that our kiddos can have the best foot forward.
Lynn, what is the Access VR? What is that?
It's
I'm
similar
sorry, I
to
don't know.
OPWDD, but Access VR is focusing solely on your job coaching and getting your internships and your shadow. So it's for students that maybe are going to come out with like a local diploma, but maybe they could have been a CDOS kid, but we want to get more local skills and have them have some more opportunities outside of the CDOS world. If we can get a student a local diploma, they have more opportunities as far as employment. So being able to really develop their skill set socially, emotionally out in the world, where they can do job shadows, they can be exposed, they can have job coach that follows them, right? So it's not just a parent nagging them. It can be more of a mentor situation. We've had students here that have worked with Jordan's crew that have job coaches that come in and check on them. They ask us how they're doing and get our feedback. So just trying to open up that world to our students that, you know, as much as I love Oakfield, it can be very narrow focused as far as jobs. So kind of branching them out, you know, Akron has a lot of factory-based plants and things like that. So just trying to evolve that program for them so that they can really stand on their own 2 feet when they graduate.
Well, thanks, thank you. That's really cool, super cool. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're okay.
Okay.
And I can always send out more links and stuff to Access ER and OPWD. I can send it to John and you guys can explore
It's
the
not
websites.
a world that I'm really aware of. at
Yeah,
all.
I think a lot of people are underutilizing the service, so. I'll
Thank
share
you
with
for
John
looking
and he
into
can
it.
send
Yeah,
it to you.
thanks, Lynn. Connie, any updates?
A lot of good stuff going on. One of the things that we're actually in both buildings doing, and you're all familiar with BOCES, we work with BOCES with curriculum, our teachers often go to BOCES PD sessions, but one of the things we've done over the last couple of years is bring in BOCES specialists to work one-on-one or in small groups with our teachers. And last year, for our high school teachers, there's new high school regions coming out. So our earth science and our living environment teachers had an opportunity to work one-on-one. BOCES came in and said, what are your specific needs? And they really enjoyed that. And Matt and I reached out again this year. Okay, this is our last year of doing the traditional regions. Next year, everybody has to take a new, are you interested in more PD? So we're arranging for BOCES to come out again and work with them. And then at our elementary school, actually, our content literacy, which is science social studies, we're departmentalized at 4th and 5th grade. That means there's one teacher at 4th that does science and social studies, one teacher at 5th that does science and social studies. They feel very comfortable with the science, but they were looking just to make the social studies piece better. BOCES has a social studies specialist, so we had him come in. Heather and I did a lot of planning beforehand. We did virtual meets with the teachers, and the gentleman's name is Nick. And they planned together, spent a day. The teachers were so excited. They took all of it, ran, just kept going with it, to the point where their colleagues in ELA said, Heather, Connie, can we have the English specialist from BOCES come and work with us? Because they just had such a productive session. So we've been in the process of planning with them, and we have a virtual meet coming up so they can kind of hone the plan on what that day will look like. So it's nice to utilize some of these services that we buy into. Often we think of BOCES and, oh, you go to a BOCES PD, but they really do offer a lot more. And so in both buildings, we've been trying to support our teachers in their needs by bringing that PD right to them and personalizing it as opposed to something more general with a larger group. So it's exciting. Again, good feedback from all the teachers that have participated.
So was that K6 for social studies time, or K5 for social studies, Connie, that they?
No, this is just going to be our 4th and 5th at this.
Just for, I'm sorry, I missed
Yeah,
that
well,
point.
that's where we started. And
Yeah.
actually, we had those conversations, do we bring 3rd in, do we bring, and we decided just
It's
to
a
go
tough,
with
it's a tough conversation, right?
Yeah.
It's a super tough one, because like social studies is so hard to
Yeah.
really get into those. I'd be curious the direction in which you go, because there's really not a ton of great stuff out there for social studies.
Yeah,
that-
well, in a classroom setting, so our pre-K through 3, it's a classroom setting, those teachers teach all the different disciplines.
Right.
4-5, the reason we started with 4-5 is because they're just so
Departmentalized,
big.
right? And you can
Yes.
just zoom in on
Yep.
that. Not, I shouldn't say just, but you can zoom in on that. There's, downstate, there's a BOCES that's come up with a curriculum.
The ELA and social studies together.
Yeah, is it Putnam County?
might be- I think it might be
I think it's Putnam County. That looks very interesting. I haven't
Yep.
looked into it, but their scope and sequence really matches what 4th grade is. I'd be curious to see what you thought about it. I haven't opened it up yet, but social studies is such a, I feel like it's an inherited curriculum. It's whoever taught it before you. Here you go. And then is it right, is it wrong? And hopefully it's right, and it's based on the curriculum and the standards that New York State's giving you. But it's always seems like it's cheated. Where the kits that you guys are using right now, that's something that you can pick up, you can use it, and it's there. It's social studies that's the hardest.
Yeah.
I give you credit for looking into that, because it's hard.
I give the teachers credit. I mean, it's the teachers, they want to just know better, do better. And so they really were the driving force behind that.
Well, thank you for that. I'm sorry for that awkward pause. Heather, for more awkwardness on my end, anything for down the elementary? Or Bill?
Yeah, I mean, things are going great as always. Our math and lit team were able to just meet. I don't want to take away too much of the excitement that they have a really great plan in place for our entire elementary building to focus on some fun math stuff in March with March Madness. So I think the kids are going to be really excited. It's an opportunity for all of the grades to participate, so I think that will be fun for the kids. So I'm working closely with them to try to figure out how that's going to look and how it's going to happen. But we're really excited about that. And parent-teacher conferences went well. Everyone went with the flow with the reschedule and the snow day. And my feedback for teachers was it was a positive experience. We didn't have anything negative, so super appreciative of the families that were flexible and able to. I think most were able to keep their conference or reschedule and have really good, productive conversations with the teachers about how their kids are doing and, setting some goals for next trimester.
Thank you, Heather. Mr. Peterson.
I want to kind of highlight the heartbeat of the district, really. That's the teachers. There's some really, really professional, wonderful teachers that are here. I think you saw one on display here with Julia. When we hired Julia, we were hoping. We remembered her as a student. She's brilliant and she's ambitious and she has a vision for what she wants to build that program is, and she's been everything and that and more. I think she represents, a lot of the staff that we have in this building. They're just true professionals who want to get better, who want to hone their craft. Some examples, we're working on our grading processes, how we put grades in the book, what we do to create bias-resistant grades and accurate grades. And there's a lot that goes into that. It's a really heavy lift. And, it's not always perfect. We're experimenting and they're taking risks like true professionals do in evaluating this whole process. We're setting goals that relate to grading. Currently, they're conducting a gradebook audit. Each teacher is to look at the things that are in their gradebook and see if it meshes with the things we've identified with our curriculum work. It's just a fantastic group of professionals, and I just want to highlight that today.
That's tough stuff.
Oh.
It's really personal.
Yeah, it sure is. There's an ownership over the grading process. So to have the willingness to take a risk and to maybe do some things that are different.
What are you using grading with equity or what?
But that's one of the guides. We've dove into a lot of the research, but that's a guide that we've used.
Sure.
And it's a good starting point, but it's never perfect.
No.
You can adopt a lot of these practices and find that there's other unintended effects. So it's a process that will be ongoing, but it's been a really rewarding one.
Do you have like a timeline, Matt, that you think like where you'd like to be
We
at a
started
certain?
slow, and I don't have a timeline
Sure.
for an end, but the goal this year was kind of open-ended. It will all of us will adopt practices that are more accurate and more consistent. So we're starting slow and see where it goes. I'm getting feedback from them. I'm meeting with departments, and like I said, they're professionals. They're working hard, even though at times it can be uncomfortable with what you're used to doing.
Well, I think it's smart to take it a little slow with that because these practices just didn't start. They've been ingrained for a very long time. That's good. Good work. Thank you. Mr. Montroy.
Our kids are working hard in the classroom and with those grading policies and procedures, and they're also working hard outside the classroom. A lot of great success. Our boys and girls basketball teams are about ready to go to the GRNO Showcase crossover games. Both the boys and the girls are sitting in premier slots at the end of the evening, so they're both being very successful, having a lot of fun. Our swim team, our girls are 8-1 in the league for the GR, so they are few, but they are mighty, and they're knocking down some great PRs and putting themselves up on the leaderboards. Track has had many PRs, but 4 school records have fallen. We have Riley Kirkland with the weight throw, Alana Chat with 2 herself, triple jump and 55-meter dash. And then our girls 4x200 also has broken the school record with Alana Chat, Carla Williams, Kaylee Kramer, Gracie Smith. And our cheer had been at boys and girls games this year. That was a change, which is awesome to see. And they are really enjoying themselves and getting ready for competition. So it's great to see all the hard work they're putting in outside the classroom, really having fun and finding that success.
Thanks, JC. Rob, any updates tonight?
Yes, big news we announced it on Parent Square tonight. The new website design was decided upon. It features a huge homepage of just a video that plays. And I gave a couple of examples of actual districts around the country that are using that. And it's a perfect timing now because we have the capital project going on. It would be great to have a lot of aerial drone footage of the campus and how it changes over time. And to stay updated, you just need to visit the homepage. So it's a pretty easy way to showcase all those things from a different point of view. And in addition to that, as you can see, I'm trying 2 different microphone setups today. I can say for sure I don't like the wireless ones. They're very convenient, the 5 of them there, but the sound is more of like an FM radio sound, whereas what we're used to here is more like CD quality sound. So glad that I first chance to try it, and I won't be going to Christine and saying, can you find some money to buy these? Because they are on loan right now. I convinced the IPGO company, because we use their document cameras, can you give us the setup for the conference room so I can test it out before we agreed to purchase them. I'm glad that we did this.
Very cool, very cool. Thank you, Rob. Let's see here. I think we're on to Alexis. I'm not going to forget you tonight, Alexis. Any updates?
So as I said last month, I talked about how we were going to go talk to Assemblyman Steve Hawley and present to him our mental health and substance abuse interconnectedness, and he very much enjoyed it. So now we're in the process of getting Senator George Morello to talk to us, and Steve Hawley wants us to go to the mental health committee, and we're actually going to go present to them on a larger scale level. So that's like the biggest thing going on. And then next week, so the 28th, for our 8th graders, we're going to be having an assembly regarding this and kind of give them the rundown of like what it is, because we think it's the perfect age from when you're switching, because that's when more peer pressure happens and when people start to kind of do that to cope with all the stuff that's going on. So
Sounds
That's
cool.
exciting.
Super
It's
cool.
really
You're going to have to report back.
yeah,
Wait to
we
hear
will.
about it. All right, so on to new business. Be it resolved that items 8.2 through 8.13 be approved via consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 8:14, there's a couple papers back here. Okay. This is 8:14, it's a donation from the family of Ken and Rob Yunker. Be it resolved that the $4,200 donation from the family of Ken and Rob Yunker to the OAS swim team be accepted. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Yeah, go ahead, man. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Thank you for thinking of us and the team.
Yeah, very, very appreciated.
Thank you.
Very grateful.
Super generous,
Yeah.
yes, very much so.
I'm sure it'll go to good use.
Yeah, there was many Yunkers involved in the OACS school for years and years, so.
You're not the only one.
I'm not the only one. I'm actually the baby. The last of the last. So these were both my cousins, and Ken actually ended up being a Section 5 official for a really long time, and he was an official when I was on the swim team and diving, and I always remember him. He couldn't score my dives because I was family. He was very by the book. He had to step away, but it was always very, he was always very, involved in the program, swimmers. He ended up going to college, but he always paid attention, still came. Just before he even passed away, he was still coming to the swim meet, so family was really appreciative and wanted to give it back to the school. So
Thank you.
and the swim team's really appreciative. Yeah. So.
We are working with the coaches and the family. We are a new starter, the new system that does the starts, and then 2 track starts for training. They go on top of the blocks, and it's set their feet with a handle, and you'd be starting on starting blocks in the track meet. So we're going to get some training materials and a new starter for swimming.
Oh, that's super cool. So instant.
Yeah, and they'll last a long time. It's not just consumable in 1 year. That should last a very long time, which was the intent for the family to do. So.
That's great. That's great. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 8:15. Board of Education. Let's see here. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby upholds the superintendent's decision to suspend parent from campus on December 13th, 2024. Can I get a motion? So moved. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, communications. Let's see. Okay. Discussion. Okay, on to personnel. Because I don't think we have any.
Just real quick, Justin,
Yeah.
under communications, just for the board, there is an
Sorry, John.
upcoming tenure recommendation next month.
Yep.
And and there is a letter of recommendation from Matt, which I certainly support, just giving you the heads up that it'll be on the board agenda for next month for this employee, in case you have any questions between now and then.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Thanks. Thank you, Jen. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip over.
Nope.
There's no discussion around the table for personnel. Be it resolved that items 11.2 through 11.4 be approved via consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 11.5, appointment for interim business official. Be it resolved that the Board of Education appoint Mr. Scott Hoot as interim business administrator. It's a fun name to say. It really is. As an interim business administrator for the time period of Monday, January 13th through Thursday, April 10th. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? We look forward to working with you, Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 11.6. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approve Mrs. Crystal Luxon to a permanent position of bus driver effective January 27, 2025. Can we get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 11.7, be it resolved that Rhea Hewitt be made a permanent employee, excuse me, well, welcome back, Mrs. Luxon. 11.7, be it resolved that Rhea Hewitt be made a permanent employee as a school monitor effective February 26, 2025. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? My girls love her in the cafeteria. She's super nice. She's always been very nice. Can I get, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, 11.8, retirement. Be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the retirement of Mary Kalinowski effective June 30th, 2025. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Thank you, Mrs. Kalinowski. We've got couple months left. Hang on here. We'll see you in June. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 11.9, be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the retirement of Nancy Scrover effective July 1st, 2025. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Thank you, Mrs. Scrover, for all the time that you've been here. We've really appreciated your service. Mallory, do you want to say anything nice about your mom?
No pressure.
No.
I mean, I'm happy for her, but sad for me, and hopefully she'll have a lot of babysitting duties in her future.
Does that mean more babies are on the way?
No.
No, okay.
Just the current ones.
Just asking.
You know, she
Okay,
uses
all right.
that she has to work as an excuse all the time.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I have to abstain, right?
Yeah, probably.
Just to make
Yeah.
it official.
Probably.
There you go.
Motion passes. Resignation. Be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the resignation of Christine Griffin, our business administrator. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Christine.
Best wishes.
You're
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
Good luck. Thank you.
How thorough and detailed and relevant everything was that you presented to us over the years. Thank you so much.
Thanks. I appreciate
Much
you guys.
appreciated.
I do. Very much. Don't look at me.
I won't. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
I mean,
passes.
can we oppose her?
Is that his right word?
Closing.
No?
You're not the first person to say that to me today, Kristen. Closing remarks. Mallory, we're going to start off with you
Oh, we
tonight.
always
That's
start with
okay.
me.
Yeah.
What do we have today? No, I mean, I think that it's been a whirlwind back to school after the break, and I know everybody's been working super hard to get back up to speed after 2 weeks off. There's been a lot happening, and just appreciate everybody's contributions. In all sincerity, I am very excited for my mom's retirement. She's been at the district a really long time and supported a lot of kiddos with their reading efforts, so I'm excited for her. It'll be a nice shift in her lifestyle, so excited to see what comes next for her. And yes, I do hope it includes babysitting also for me. But no, I think there's a lot that's been positive in the happenings that we have coming up in January, and excited to see how some of those things pan out now that we're back in session and moving forward. So that's all I got.
Maria?
All right, I got a few. Thank you, PTO, for dinner.
Yes.
And the pies and all that food. It was delicious. I appreciate it very much. Miss you, that was an awesome presentation. My daughter is thoroughly enjoying that class. She's making a checkerboard right now, and I've heard quite a bit about it. I would like to say that tradition is something I value very much in this district, and I can remember back in the 1900s taking, shop class with Mr. Callan. I was here when Mr. Hoffines first came. I think he was student teaching at that time.
Did you have Mr. Krupa?
Oh yeah, that goes a little further back.
Too, yeah.
So the neat thing that she talked about, which was well before her time, were some of the traditions that have been in place for years and years and years. So it's nice to see those traditions stay alive. So thank you for that. Christine, again, thank you for everything. We appreciate all that you've done, and you will be missed very much. And then congrats to Tracy and the Link crew for the Excellent in Student Service Award that was announced, what was it, 2 weeks ago now? Very nice.
Thanks, Maria. Jackie?
Ditto what these ladies, of course, said. PTO, thank you for the generous and kind dinner you gave us tonight. Much appreciated. That pie is going to be my breakfast in the morning. So, Christine, thank you again. I really always appreciated your attention to detail. You're like a dog with a bone with that stuff, and we all appreciate that. But you have a very, very good way of laying it out for us and explaining it to us. So those of us who aren't in that world, it was much appreciated. So thank you and good luck. We'll miss you.
Thank you.
January is I love January. I love snow. I love really cold weather. So this is perfect for me. I know I am the absolute, only person that likes that. But I think that January is also fresh. Like, it's a good time to have fresh starts and new turnover of a lot of stuff. But what I really like to see is a lot of the fresh ideas that are starting to come. I feel like I'm hearing more and more of them from different finding out new stuff, different teachers doing different things. Julia coming in, doing this presentation. Love that. Her freshness, her enthusiasm. I love that. I wish that was something like that we could do. We did way back in the, so I really, really appreciate that. And I love how she's tying it back to, like what Pete mentioned, reality, real world, and what they can do with that. So keeping those kids engaged as to, this isn't just a class to pick as an elective to go through. It's kind of tying it to what you can do after you leave away. So I really appreciate that. And all the teachers, Matt, Mr. Peterson, you said it, these teachers are really, really, a lot of them are just really invested, and they try and they see new things and they bring it back, and I love hearing all the new stuff. It's, instead of being stagnant, a lot of times I'm seeing a lot more and hearing more, and maybe it's always been there, but I feel like I'm hearing more of it. So I really appreciate that and all the input that everybody's giving. Let's see. And a little plug to the OA swim team, who is going to their sectional type thing this week, Friday and next Friday. They'll be doing their little GR league meet, so I hope that those little 8 girls who worked really hard with new coaches do a really good job. So good luck to them. And Natalie, you had a birthday this month?
I did.
You did it to me, so I'm going to do it back to you. So
Happy
happy birthday,
birthday.
And that's about it.
We didn't bring your cupcakes.
That's I know. Didn't bring a cupcake. You can
She brought her own.
She brought share my cake. She brought
her own
cupcakes,
actually. She doesn't have to worry about that. Thanks. Is that?
That's it.
Thanks, Jackie.
That's all I got.
Pete?
Good luck, Christine. Pleasure to work with you for the last couple of years. Thank you to the PTO. It is nice to see what that group is just like really reaching, like all corners of everything, and it's great to have a group of people that are so invested into our school. So that's great. The thing that Julia presented on, I think it's great anytime we can give our kids something that might catch their interest to give them direction. And I think even she said, like, she fights with these kids to get them to take this class, and then they get in it, and it's like, oh, this is kind of cool. And like, so it's great to see. I mean, I don't get to see it on a scale that you guys do, but the way that you guys can influence people's futures. Like, you never know what's going to hit with them that's going to drive a kid to take a certain, and I can only imagine that that's like just like a huge, like, I guess that's probably the ultimate goal, right? At the end of the day is to give a kid direction, to make a decision on which way to go in life, on a career or something like that. So, especially with what we have upcoming in our area, like Edwards Vacuum, like I can see that job going right into some place like that. So that's great.
Thanks, Pete. Allie?
All right. Happy New Year to everybody. And I did bring cupcakes, but not for my birthday, but for celebrating Christine, unfortunately leaving. And John has a birthday coming up before our next board meeting, which is, I believe, the 8th of February.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an important date for your family, too.
Yes. So
51. Right?
I don't think.
Is that right? Is that right? Well, I don't mean to put, I'm sorry, that just popped out of my brain. Wasn't last year all the balloons that we were tripping over, right, Jackie? Yeah, sorry, John, I just outed you. I'll be 46 soon, so that makes a difference. If we're all
happy early
done.
birthday.
Oh, son of a gun, sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry, Neil.
That's all right. No worries. Thank you to the PTO for the beautiful dinner and just always being there for the community. Great presentation from Miss Yu today. What I've heard in the community is how much our teachers are actually helping these kiddos. So pre-K through senior, I've heard so many great stories recently of these teachers staying extra or helping kids even on their own time, their personal time, just to get these kids to pass tests and to do well on their region. So kudos to our teachers for putting themselves out there to do the extra mile and to be there for these kids, not just while they're in this building, but as they go out into the community. So a big thank you for that, because it means a lot, not to just the board here, but to the parents. Seeing their kids go from maybe a failing grade to, if they even pass that, Regions by 1 point, they passed it, by golly gee. So that's amazing. It's a pass. Getting them set up for success later in life. There is a world outside of Oakfield, and they're going to be entering it, and we want them to represent us really well. So thank you to all the teachers for making that happen. And we have so many awesome programs to help the kids in many different ways. With the Health and Wellness is meeting tomorrow, and looking at an agenda for that, it's so exciting to see what we have in store for our kids for the rest of the year. Thinking we've got the 100-day coming up in February, and gosh, we're almost halfway done with school, and we have still so much more to do. So it's really exciting. Thank you, everybody, for all your time and effort, and start the new year out right.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thank you to the PTO for dinner. Thank you, Christine, for your 4 years here. Last week, I think it was the week before, we had a budget meeting, and that was the earliest in my time here that the board has been brought in on the budget process in such a meaningful way. I think there's a lot of good discussion and understanding to revenues and expenses, and it really helps, I think, bringing the group in these early stages. So we appreciate that and that practice that you started for us on your way out. Hopefully that will continue. I'm in a stage of life where I read obituaries now. I don't know what that says about me. I don't know. I'm sure some of you saw this.
Mr. Burns.
Bill Burns passed away. So he's a 34-year employee of the school district. I think Jack and I graduated together, and we were probably more towards the tail end of that. Started as a coach. He was an athletic director, which I don't remember. The role that I remember is principal. And he came for me one day. I was naughty once, but I guess maybe hopefully I turned out okay. But he was a good man, a good memory of him. I think probably a few of us crossed over with him. So I just thought I would mention that. 34 years, we talk about retirements and how long these teachers, employees of the district spend with us, and what we appreciate of that. And so right there was a man that worked with this district for a long, long time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. I used to have to, if I got in trouble, I'd have to lick envelopes in his office. So I would sit there and I'd have to lick all of his, I don't know why that was my job, but that's what I had to do with him.
All that glue.
And that's why, yeah, look at what happened. 51.
It
Wasn't anything else that I did. Seriously, there's a lot to, I'm very grateful for right now that's happening. My eyes are kind of split between the elementary and the middle school right now because of my kids, but I'm so thankful that my daughters have the ability to be in Math Olympiad and page turners and those kind of extracurricular kinds of things that are, not just athletic but academic as well, and how much they enjoy to do it. They were so excited. They were mad at you because you closed school and they couldn't do their page turners competition, and that was pretty cool. That they were mad about that, but they were really excited to get up on stage as a little sister duo and place third, and that's a big deal for our house. It's a reading competition. It was really cool. So thank you for that, and the advisors that do that. And I also would like to thank Christine so much for the last 4 years. It seems like you've been here my whole time that I've been here. I was talking to Mallory after the workshop, and I said, I don't know if you can appreciate, where we were to where we are now. And I think a lot of the success that you see in this building has a lot to do with you. I know myself going through the administrative program, you were very helpful for me. We share a lot of information together, and you helped me to get to the end of that, and I'm very appreciative. I think every conversation that I've had with you, I think I've learned a lot, and maybe you've walked away with a little, like a little bit. And I hope you take a little bit of that with you and know that this was never contentious, combative, but we were here to support you. And I know there's times where you didn't always feel supported, but a question's a question. All right, and you always came back with an answer and data for us to make the best decision that we possibly could. I know you're going to do that. It's just going to be on a bigger scale. And take care of yourself when you're there, because you don't always. And you'll do great. And I think we're going to miss you, but I think Jackie always talks about legacies, like what do you leave behind, and you've left a structure to follow, right? You really have. And I hope that, as, the administration team here and John and us will make sure that continues to happen with that timeline and all the other things that you've done. So from myself and the board, and I think the community, just thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I really do. I enjoyed my time here. It's a great district. It's a lot of love here, a lot of support, a lot of teamwork, and a lot of people rooting for the kids, and that's what it's all about. So keeping all of that at the center of our decisions, I think, has been why we've been as successful as we have. Try to make it happen for the kids. So, thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, be it resolved that the meeting is ending at 7:21. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
You guys say pie?
Aye.
Because there is pie still left.
There is.
Please make sure you get some. Motion passes. Meeting
Too much
ended.
glue.
Drive safe
Roll that
tonight, Mr. Peterson.